It's just loading. 1 second here. All right. I think we're good to go. So welcome everyone to week 2 of yoga. We are going to be building a little bit on what we did last week. So if you've never done yoga before, you're super new, maybe check out last week's video first. It's saved on the Facebook page. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Cheyenne. I coach at the Rideau Canoe Club. Not a professional yoga teacher, but I've been practicing yoga for a couple of years now. And again, like we're with all our isolation, I've been doing it quite a bit at home. So super happy to share practice with you. At any time, just let me know if the sound goes or something like that. I can't really tell if it's working or not. So just, again, let me know. You don't need any special equipment. It does help to have a yoga mat or some sort of non-stick surface. You don't want to be slipping and sliding around. It also might help to have something like a yoga block. If you don't have a block, you could use maybe a book or something like that. Because we're going to be doing some forward fold stuff, and you want to connect somehow with the ground. So if that's like something like a block at its highest level, and then your fingertips, like that's all good. But that kind of gives you an idea. And then if you don't need it, that's totally cool. You can just go like hands to the ground or any level in between. So take a second, grab any equipment that you need. And then we're going to start today lying on our backs. If you do have a block, keep it handy at the back of your mat. That's the first place you're going to need it. And just take a second, relax down on your back. Maybe walk your shoulder blades together. Make the back of your neck long. Close your eyes. And just arrive on your mat, mentally, emotionally. Start to tune out some of the distractions. Start to focus on just the next hour, 40 minutes or so. Let go of whatever you did this morning. Let go of whatever you're going to do this afternoon. And start to focus on your breath. Bring your right hand to your belly and your left hand to your rib cage. And just start to notice, where is your breath going? Is it going into your low belly? Is it going into your rib cage? Is it going into your upper lungs, collarbone? And start to send it towards your low belly. So try to inflate your low belly, kind of like a balloon. Pressing up against your right hand as you inhale, and then contracting as you exhale. And start to deepen your inhales. Maybe for a count of 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause. Inhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause. And then breathe spontaneously. Hands can come down to the ground, and you're going to hug your right knee in towards your chest. So you can use your hands, hug it in nice and tight. Options, left leg can be long, or it can come a little bit bent if you're feeling really tight through your hip flexors. Both are good. And start to draw some circles with your right knee. Doesn't matter which direction, because we're going to do both. So just bringing some movement into your hip joint, noticing any sticky spots, and then switch direction. So right knee moving in circle in the other direction. Circles can be as big or as small as you need. And then find stillness. and start to pull your right knee in towards your right shoulder. So you're opening up a little bit, stretching a bit more the inside of your thigh, inside of your hamstring. And then pull it over across your body and just start to pull your right knee towards your left shoulder. So you're not tipping over into any sort of a twist. You're just intending your knee diagonally, getting a different angle to stretch, maybe more into your glutes or the outside of your hip. Then bring it back to center and bend your left knee so that your sole of your foot is close to your butt, like you're about to do a glute bridge. And then cross your right ankle over your left knee. We're going to come into figure 4. So if this is enough of a stretch here, you can just press your right knee away. Or if you want, you can make it more active and grab the back of your left hamstring and just pull your left knee in towards your chest as you intend your right knee further away. And then bring some movement into it. Without tipping all the way over, just roll really gently from side to side. Again, bringing a bit more movement into your hip joint. Just picturing your hip. It's a ball and socket joint, right? Your leg bone sticks up into your hip. There's like a hole for it. So just moving your femur bone around in that hip there. And then release. Both legs can go long. Right leg stays straight. Left leg comes in towards your chest. Give it a good squeeze. And then start to draw some circles. We're just doing the other side. Again, if you want your right leg to be bent, totally fine. If that's more comfortable, if that means your lower back is on the ground. But if you can, then it's straight. And switch directions with your left knee. Drawing circles the other way. Just using your hands to help you. And then start to pull your left knee towards your left shoulder, opening up through your hip. Again, not rolling over, so your right hip is still grounded, left hip is grounded, both shoulders are grounded. You're just pulling your knee open. And then start to pull it diagonally across your body towards your right shoulder. Again, trying to keep your low back down, hips down, shoulders down. Just stretching your knee in a different direction. Come back to center. Bend your right knee. Plant your right foot as though you're about to do a glute bridge. And then cross your left ankle over your right knee for figure 4. Again, this is all fair game here. You can press your left knee away or do that actively, intend it away. Or you can go ahead, grab the back of your hamstring and hug your right knee in towards your chest. Again, as you intend your left knee away from you. And then find some movement, just gently rocking from side to side without tipping all the way over onto your side. Just moving your legs in their figure 4 shape, back and forth. And then grab onto the back of both thighs. So get out of your figure 4. Just start to rock along the length of your spine. And then however you can, just roll up and we'll come into a table. So hands and knees on the mat, shoulders on top of wrists, hips on top of knees. And we're going to move through some cat-cows. So for cow, drop your belly, shoulder blades together, lift your hips, lift your chin. And then cat, arching up through your spine, tuck your tailbone, crown of your head to the ground, look at your belly button. And then cow. You can move through this at your own pace. You don't need to follow exactly my cueing. And cat. Make sure you're separating your shoulder blades for cat. Pressing into the ground. Cow. We're going to do one more. And cat. And then come to neutral spine. We're going to do some rotations to wake up our spine in a more twisting way. So grounding through your right hand, your left hand is going to lift up as high as you can. Keep your knees and hips grounded. And then reach under your right armpit as far as you can. Try and get your shoulder to the ground, maybe your ear or your head to the ground. Big twist. And then reach up. And reach through. And reach up. And reach through. We're going to stay. Press your right hand nice and firmly into the mat, helping you find a twist. Come back up to table. Reset. We'll do the other side. Right hand reaches up and reaches through. Reach up and reach through. Last one, reach up and reach through. We'll stay. Pressing into your left hand, helping you find a twist. Come back up to table. Curl your toes under. Hover your knees and start to press your heels back towards, or press your butt back towards your heels. Try and get your belly on your thighs. And then lift your hips up really slow. Keep your knees as bent as you need to, intending your belly towards your thighs. And then finally, maybe reach up into a downward dog, nice and slow. We're only taking a second here. And then start to walk your hands back towards your feet so that you come into a forward fold at the back of your mat or your space. Inhale, lift up halfway, flat back. Hands come to knees or shins. And then exhale, forward fold. You're gonna step your right foot in behind your left foot so that your outside edges of your feet are pressed together. Okay, your feet are crossed. And then just exhale, fold into that. This is where you might want your block, okay? If the floor is really far away, it might help you with some balance. And then whether you have a block or not, you're gonna crawl your hands over towards the left, okay? Finding a stretch through your right side. Trying to keep your right leg straight, but bending into your left leg as much as you need to. Remember, left leg is in front, right leg is behind. And again, this is where you might want that block to help bring the floor closer. If you don't have a block and the floor is nowhere close, just go ahead and grab onto your legs. Bring your torso back to center. Legs are still crossed. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, fold. Pressing into your feet for balance, inhale, lift all the way up. And at the top, grab onto your right wrist with your left hand and come into a side body stretch, feeling a stretch through your right side. Inhale, reach back up. Exhale, forward fold. And then go ahead, switch your feet. So step your right foot to meet your left foot, and then your left foot's gonna come behind your right foot, and you're gonna press the outside edges of your feet together. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, forward fold. And again, you're gonna crawl your fingertips around this time towards the right. Staying straight if you can through your left leg, bending generously into your right knee if needed. And again, if you wanna grab your block and bring it over to this side, fair game. Walk those fingertips nice and far away, especially the left fingertips. Bring your torso back to center. Press into your feet. Inhale, lift all the way up. At the top, grab onto your left wrist and side bend towards the right, stretching out your left side. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, forward fold. Straighten out your feet, so uncross them. And then just go ahead, crawl your way back to a downward dog. Hips up and back. You can keep a bend in your knees. Maybe pedal your feet, straightening one leg, bending through the other. Press into all 10 fingers to take some of the load out of your wrists. Then look forward in between your thumbs and step to the front of your mat. So now you're in forward fold up the front of your mat. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lift all the way up. Exhale, hands to your heart. We're going to go through a flow here. Inhale, lift up, reach up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lift up halfway, flat back. Exhale, hands to the ground, bend your knees if you have to, and then step back, high plank. And then from your feet or from your knees, lower nice and slow to the ground. Untuck your toes, press the tops of your feet down into the mat, squeeze your butt, press into your hands, and lift your chest for cobra. Exhale, lower. We're going to do that again. Keep your elbows tucked in. Inhale, lift. Try to use the strength of your back as much as possible, squeezing through your butt. And lower. One more. Keeping the back of your neck long. So it is a back bend, but it's not going all the way up into your neck. And lower. Tuck your toes under, and then from your knees or from your toes, press up into high plank. Press back, downward dog. Look forwards in between your thumbs. Step forwards, forward fold. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, come all the way up. And exhale, hands to your heart. Okay, we're going to add on to that flow each time. So inhale, reach up, look up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, come up halfway. Exhale, hands to the ground, step back, high plank. From your knees or from your feet, lower to the ground. Just one time, untuck your toes, squeeze your butt, lift up, cobra. Exhale, lower. Tuck your toes, press up, and press back, downward dog. When we're doing the press up or press down, you can always drop your knees. I'm just not going to say it every single time. This is where we add on. Lift your right leg up to the sky, and then step it forwards in between your thumbs. Drop your back knee. You're going to be in a low lunge. Back toes can be flat or they can be curled, up to you. And then lift your arms up, lift your torso up for low lunge. And then sink your hips nice and low. Intending your right knee towards your right pinky toe as much as possible, creating space. Maybe puff up through your chest, find a slight back bend. Back off that lunge a little bit so that your hips come on top of your back knee. Grab onto your left wrist, lean over to the right, side body stretch on the left. Come back up to your low lunge. And we're going to start to move into our half splits. So you have options here. If you're really tight, just sweep your hands back, send your hips back, straighten out your front leg. And then you're moving from your low lunge and into your half split. If you have a little bit more mobility, you're going low lunge and then hands to the ground or to a block and half split from there. Okay? But we're always moving nice and slow, whatever pace you want, half split to low lunge. When you're in that half split, square up your hips, Pulling your right hip back, left hip forwards. One more, and then we're going to meet in our half split. So holding your half split, whether that's with your hands maybe on your hips or by your side, because the ground is just nowhere close. Or if you can bend a little bit through your back, maybe fingers are on the ground. Try to keep your right hip down rather than lifting through that hip. One more breath here. And then lunge forward into your low lunge, keep your hands down. You're going to bring your right hand to the inside of your right foot and just heel toe or shift your right foot out wider. Hands can be on the ground or on a block. There's always option to tent your fingers if you need a bit more space. And then just come to the outside edge of your right foot. Let your right knee fall over to the side and just move with it. So you can either keep your elbows down, hands down, or I'll just shift so you guys can see. You're just grabbing onto your knee and moving from the side of your foot to a flat foot. Okay? Just working on opening up your hip. All right, wherever you are, plant your hands. You're gonna press up into your back knee, so fire up your back leg. And then just step your right foot back to meet your left. We're in high plank. And then again, from your knees or from your feet, lower to the ground. Untuck your toes, inhale, squeeze your butt, cobra, long neck. Exhale, lower. Tuck your toes, press up, downward dog. Other side, left leg comes up. And then step it forwards in between your thumbs. Drop your back knee. Arms come up, reach up to the sky, try and grow out through your fingertips. And then sink your hips down, left knee intending towards left pinky toe. Maybe finding a back bend by lifting through your heart, and then your chin is the last thing to lift. One more breath here. And then start to move through your half split, low lunge. Whatever version you did last time is good this time. You can let your back bend a little bit to get your hands on the floor. We don't need to be very strict in this particular one about keeping our backs flat. Just make sure you're feeling it in your hamstring as well. Next one, when you're in half split, we're going to meet and hold. Square up your hips. Pull that left hip back, right hip forwards. Feeling a deep hamstring stretch. Looking for that discomfort, breathing into it. Maybe going back to your inhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause. Exhale. Find your own breath. And then lunge forwards. Hands come up. Back off your lunge a little bit so that your hips are on top of your knee. Grab your right wrist and lean over to the left, side body stretch. Come back up, low lunge. And then you're going to bring your hands down to the inside of your left foot and walk your left foot over towards the outside edge of your mat. Plant your hands on the mat or on a block. Take your left hand, bring it to your left knee, and just work your hip open and closed here. Going to the outside edge of your left foot, and then back to flat foot. Maybe noticing if you have any sticky spots in that hip, some cracks that you need to work through. And then both hands down to the ground. Fire up through your back leg. Step your left foot back, high plank. Again, knees or feet, lower. Untuck your toes, squeeze your butt, cobra. Lower. press up, and press back. Look forwards, step to the front of your mat, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, hands to your heart. We're going to do that again. We're going to switch up our sequence when we lunge. So inhale, reach up, look up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands to the ground, and you can step, or if you want to try, you can hop back into high plank. From your knees or from your feet, lower to the ground. Untuck your toes, squeeze your butt, squeeze your legs together. Cobra. Lower. Tuck your toes, press up. And press back, downward dog. Lift your right leg nice and high, three-legged dog. And then step it forwards in between your thumbs. Again, drop your back knee. Come on up, low lunge. Now this time, you're gonna make sure your hips are pretty much on top of your back knee. Okay, maybe shorten your stance if you need to give your hips more space, because we're gonna close them. Okay, so you're gonna close your hip towards the right, and then open up through your hands as you face the right. And then square your hips, arms up. Close your hips, arms reach. One more. Square your hips, arms up. Close your hips, arms reach. And then left hand reaches for the sky. Right hand either comes to low back for some support or to your back thigh. We're reversing our low lunge here. And then keeping that twist, you're going to drop your left hand to the ground and come up for easy twist. So left hand is on the ground, right hand to the sky. Keep that twist through your torso, through your hips. Now this is where you might want to block or to tent your left fingers, because we're going to do what we did with half split, but we're going to keep our twist. So straighten that front leg, twisted half split, and then lunge it back forwards for easy twist. So however you need to do this to intend your right leg to straight, pulling that hip back when you get into your half split. Move through that a few times. If your right arm's getting tired, you can always bring it to your low back. Just make sure you're keeping that twist. On the next one, we're going to hold our twisted half split. Try to intend your right hip down. Okay, try not to let your butt shoot out towards the right. And then go ahead, lunge forwards, both hands to the ground. Fire up through your back leg. And step your right foot back to meet your left. High plank. From your knees or from your feet, lower. Untuck your toes, squeeze your butt, elbows in, cobra. Lower. Press up. And press back. Right away. Left leg lifts. Step it forwards in between your thumbs. Drop your back knee. Come on up to your low lunge. Now again, maybe shorten your stance. Make sure your hips have space to close. And then you're going to twist towards the left, close your hips, reach with your arms. Come back up, square your hips, hands come up. Close your hips. Maybe you lunge a little more forwards, reaching forwards with your right hand, backwards with your left hand. Last one, come on up. And then lunge forwards again. Right hand comes to the sky. Left hand either comes to low back or your back thigh. Reversed low lunge. One more breath here. And then you're going to drop your right hand down to the mat, left hand to the sky for easy twist. Make sure you're strong through that right shoulder. Don't let it collapse down towards your ears. Press into the ground. And then again, wherever you're at, try to straighten through your left leg so that you're in a twisted half split. Again, maybe you want to tent your fingers. Maybe you want the block there, okay? And then we're moving back and forth. Twisted lunge, twisted half split. Intend your left hip down. Don't let your butt pop up. A few more. Lunge forward, lunge back. Again, hand can come to your low back. Just make sure you're keeping that twist through your torso. One more, and we're gonna hold that twisted half split. Take a quick peek down at your left foot and try and keep your toes pointing straight forwards. Try not to let them curl out to the side. And then lunge forwards, both hands to the ground. Fire up through your back leg and step your left foot back to meet your right. Adjust into your high plank and then lower. Press up, cobra. Lower. Tuck your toes, press up and press back. One breath here. Look forwards. You can step to forward fold or you bend your knees and hop. When you get there, inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, come all the way up. And exhale, hands to your heart. Nice work. Again, inhale, lift up, look up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, hands to the ground, step or hop, high plank. From your knees or from your toes, lower to the ground. Untuck your toes, squeeze your butt, squeeze your thighs. Inhale, lift up, cobra. Exhale, lower. Tuck your toes from your knees or from your toes, press up and press back, downward dog. Right leg comes up and step it forwards in between your thumbs. Drop your back knee. Now, we're gonna do something a little bit different, so listen carefully. Use your hands for balance. You're gonna pick up your back foot and you're gonna pivot on your back knee so that your back shin or back calf is parallel to the short edge of your mat. Your front knee is still lunging forwards, okay? Intending again towards your pinky toe. And then you're coming up, it's a modified warrior two, okay? So hips are open, facing the side of your mat, and then squeeze your butt and tuck your tailbone so that you can rise straight out from your hip girdle. And then go ahead and lunge nice and low into that front leg. We'll take a second so that people can figure out this transition. It's a little tricky. And then your right hand's gonna come to the sky, left hand to your thigh or behind your back for the reverse. And then right away, you're gonna bring your right elbow to your right knee and then reach your left hand up and over towards the front of your mat, looking for a side body stretch on the left. Now, you can stay here, or if you feel like you have more space, go ahead and try and get your fingertips to the inside of your foot, maybe to the ground. But I don't want you to arch forwards, okay? So if you're touching the ground at the expense of having a very open left rib cage, then just go back to having your elbow on your knee. One more breath here. And then come on back up. And then you're gonna straighten your right leg and you're gonna pivot your toes so they point towards the long edge of your mat. And then lift your left arm, right arm comes down, that's your reverse. And your left arm is gonna land at the back of your mat, nice and solid. Right arm is gonna come up over your head, reaching towards the back of your mat. Now we're looking for a side body stretch on the right side. And then go ahead, try and push your hips forward Maybe find a slight back bend. One more breath here. And then look down at your left hand. That's the one that's planted. And go ahead, plant your right hand beside it. Pivot up onto your right toes. And then step your left foot back for high plank, but we're facing backwards from where we usually are. Lower knees or feet. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, lower. Inhale, press up. Exhale, press back. Right away, left foot comes up. Step it forwards in between your thumbs. Drop your right knee, that's your back knee. And then we're gonna pivot on the right knee so that your right shin comes parallel to the short edge of your mat. And then come on up. So we're in exactly the same modified warrior 2 in the other leg. Okay, lunge into your left leg, intending your knee towards your left pinky toe. Drop your tailbone, keep your shoulders on top of your hips. Left hand reaches up for the reverse. And then left elbow comes to left knee for side angle. And right arm reaches all the way over towards the back of your mat for side body stretch. Again, you can try to drop your hand a little lower. And it helps if you can use your right elbow to press your left knee back. Okay, feeling that opening through your hip. Come on back up to your modified warrior 2. Straighten your left leg and your left toes are pointing towards the long edge of your mat. Right hand comes to the sky for the reverse. And then plant your right hand. And then left hand reaches over towards the front of your mat, side body stretch on the left. And then push your hips forward. And maybe you have a small back bend here. One more breath. And then look down at your right hand. Plant your left hand beside it. And you know we're going towards a high plank. So adjust your hands. Pivot onto your left toes. Step your right toes back, high plank. And then lower from your knees or from your feet. Belly to the ground. Squeeze through your butt. Lift. Cobra. Exhale, lower. Tuck your toes. Press up. Press back, downward dog. One breath here. Exhale. And then step forward to a forward fold, or bend your knees, look at your thumbs, and jump. When you get there, inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, press all the way up. And exhale, hands to your heart. We have one more flow to do. Now, it's a little trickier, so feel free at any time. Just drop your knees and go through the movements that we just did. Okay, we're doing very similar movements, but with a more active component. Inhale, reach up, look up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands to the ground. Step, step, or hop, high plank. Lower, knees or feet, all the way to the ground. Inhale, cobra, squeeze through your legs. Exhale, lower. Press up, and press back, downward dog. Right leg comes to the sky, and then step it forwards in between your thumbs. We're gonna keep our back knee lifted. Make sure your feet are on separate tracks here. Okay, so they're still kind of hip width distance apart. For balance purposes, square your hips, and then come on up for your crescent lunge. We're not here for long. Bend deeply into your front knee. Find some depth. Maybe small back bend, heart lifts. And then you can bring your hands down to your hips, straighten through your front leg. And then step your back foot in just a little bit. You're still hip width apart in terms of like the width of your feet, but you want your back foot in enough that you can have a straight leg, toes pointing forwards, and your heel is down, okay? Then you're either gonna go hands on your hips, elbows back, and puff up through your chest like that, or clasp your hands together, puff up through your chest that way, and then tip your hips back and find a slight forward fold. We're looking for a hamstring stretch in your left leg, okay, with a flat back, even almost like a cow spine, okay, finding a bit of an arch. Don't worry about dropping your chest too far down. It's more about sending your tailbone and your butt bones up and back. And then if you have a hands clasp, maybe they lift up off your butt. One more breath here. And then inhale, hands come up, torso comes up. And then just like we did in our low lunge, you're gonna close your hips and reach your left hand forward, right hand back. And then this is where, again, you might need your block. Tip forwards, reaching for the ground. Your back can bend a little bit if it has to. And we're looking for a revolved pyramid pose. All right, now you can always, this is like half split, twisted half split. If you need to, just go ahead, bend your left knee to bring some more space into that pose. Opening up, maybe even looking towards your right fingertips. And then go ahead, bend into your right knee, circle your right hand to the ground. And then using your hands for balance, move your left foot back again, so you're in your full lunge. And then you're gonna drop your back heel, your left heel to the ground, and check your alignment. So if you look at your right heel, it should intersect with your back foot at the arch, okay, right in the middle. So we're not on separate tracks anymore. And then come on up for full warrior two. And then you're gonna flip your right palm, lift for the reverse. And then elbow to knee for side angle. Reaching your left hand up and over, side body stretch. Maybe extending your right hand down. One more breath here. And then come back up, warrior two. You're gonna pivot your right toes to face the long edge of your mat. So you're in wide legs. Toes are pointing towards the long edge. Maybe you wiggle your feet a little wider. I always find I wanna go wider. And then reach up, inhale, look up. Exhale, forward fold. Let your back bend, just chill for a second here in your wide leg. Forward fold. Make any adjustments that you need to. Check to make sure that your toes aren't pointing out at all. Okay, you want the edges of your feet to be parallel, the outside edges. And then inhale, halfway lift. And with a flat back, you want one hand, your left hand, to be able to touch the ground. So if that means that you're on like tented fingers, or maybe you're on your block, so you can keep your flat back, okay? And then you're gonna lift your right hand up to the sky for twist, maybe bending into your left leg to give you more space to open up. And then switch, right hand comes down, left hand comes up, and maybe bending into your right knee. One more time each side, left hand comes down, right hand comes up for twist. Try and look at your hand that's up. And last one, right hand comes down, left hand comes up. Both hands down. Push your block out of the way if you're using it. Just crawl your hands towards the top of your mat and pivot on your toes until you're in a lunge. And then step your, okay, this is the complicated part. Bear with me. So using your hands for balance, you're gonna plant your left hand a little bit further forward than you have been. Okay, maybe more in line with your toes than the rest of your foot. You're gonna come to the outside edge of your back foot, that's your left foot, and you're gonna step your right foot halfway in between your left hand and your left foot. So you're in a modified side plank, okay, and you have that right foot to help you. And then you're gonna press into your feet and reach your hips up and reach your right hand up towards the top of your mat. And then you're gonna lower, maybe your hips tap the ground, maybe they just come close and reach towards the back of your mat. And press up, we're doing this 2 more times. Press through your feet, lift your hips, and lower. 1 more, press up. And lower. Press up. You can circle your right hand down to the ground, pivot onto your back toes, step back, high plank, and then just press back, downward dog. All right, that whole thing other side, and then we're coming into the easy part. Lift your left leg up, step it forwards, in between your thumbs. Feet are on separate tracks. Keep your back heel lifted, back knee lifted. Come on up, Crescent Lunge. Sink deeply into your front leg. We're not staying. Slight back bend. And then hands come down, straighten through your front leg. Hands come to either hips or clasp your fingers together behind your back. Step in with your back leg as much as you need to. Hips are square. Slight back bend. Puff up through your chest like you're doing cow. And then just start to tip forward from your hips. It's a pretty small movement. Even if you have a lot of space in your hips, you're trying to send your butt bones to the sky. Chest forwards in front of your feet. Deep hamstring stretch. 1 more breath here. And then inhale, reach up. You're gonna close your hips, just like we did in low lunge, turning towards the left. Reach your right hand forward, left hand back. And then you're gonna tip and maybe your right hand comes to the ground, left hand comes to the sky. So we're in a revolved pyramid pose. And again, just like on the other side, feel free to go ahead, bend through your back leg if you need more space. And of course, feel free to put a block underneath your hand to bring the floor closer. And just like in the half split, make sure your butt is pointing backwards. Don't let it come sideways and point out to the side. Square your hips. And then bend into your right, or your left knee, excuse me, your left knee, your front leg. Place both hands on the ground for balance. Step your back foot further back, so you're into a lunge again. Drop your back heel, so your feet are perpendicular to each other. Right foot is parallel to the short edge of the mat. And then come on up for warrior 2 on the other side. Take a second, check your alignment. Sink deeply into your knee. And then left hand comes up for the reverse. And then left elbow comes to left knee. Right hand comes up and over towards the front of your mat. Side body stretch on the right. Come on up, warrior 2. Straighten through your left leg. Pivot, so you're in wide leg forward fold. Reach up, look up, and then exhale, forward fold. Adjust your feet if you need to, maybe make them a little wider. We're just gonna do our twist 1 time on each side. Right hand comes to the ground, flat back, maybe tent your fingers or come to a block. Left hand comes up, twist. Switch hands, left hand comes down, right hand comes up, twist. Right hand comes back down. Crawl your hands towards the front of your mat, pivot on your toes. Using your hands for balance, you're gonna come to the outside edge of your right foot. Plant your right hand firmly, okay, that's your base of support, a little bit more forwards than your toes. And then you're gonna step, and you can use your hands for balance, step your left foot halfway in between your right foot and your right hand. And then your left hand comes to the sky. Press into your feet, lift your hips as high as you can, and reach towards the front of your mat. Side body stretch, maybe glute stretch on the left. And then drop your hips. Maybe they come to the ground. Open up towards the back. Side body stretch on the right. Press, lift, reach. And then drop your hips. And stretch on the other side. One more. Press up. And lower. Strong through your side abs. Lift up one more time. Plant your left hand. Pivot on your back toes. Step back, high plank. Lower from your knees or your feet. Belly down. Tuck your toes. Squeeze your butt. Inhale, cobra. Long neck. Exhale, fold. Tuck your toes, press up, downward dog. Right leg comes to the sky. And we're moving to set up in pigeon, but first, step your right foot as close to your left elbow as you can, okay, as close to your left hand. And you can be on the outside edge of that right foot, okay? And we're gonna do a couple pigeon taps. So you're tapping your right knee towards your right wrist, and then straightening through that leg and pressing up, as straightening your leg any amount, okay? Always option to drop your knee and just move through this at a slightly smaller range of motion, okay? Otherwise, you're trying to straighten both legs and then bend your right knee and tap it towards your right wrist. Same feeling as that figure 4 stretch that we did at the beginning. One more time, and then just come on down into pigeon. So you can let your right ankle come in a little closer to your hips. That makes it easier. And then heel toe, use your toes to bring your left knee back. You can untuck those or leave them tucked, up to you. And then you can stay upright, or you can settle down onto your elbows. If this one really doesn't work for you, you can come on to your right hip and let your left knee bend at 90 degrees and do sort of like a modified pigeon like this. So you're on your side, it's just a little bit less intense. Otherwise, you're right on top of your hips, sinking down. One more breath here. And then come up onto your hands, tuck your back toes, and you're gonna fire up through your back leg and lift that right leg all the way up into 3-legged dog, and then step it back down. Other side, left leg comes up. Step it forwards, you're bringing your left foot to your right wrist, outside edge of your left foot. Tap your left knee down into pigeon, but then you're coming right back out, and tap it a few times. Always option, just move through it, smaller range of motion from your knee. One more. And then settle into your pigeon. Slow your breath down a little bit, maybe starting to add a pause in your breath at the top of your inhale, at the bottom of your exhale. Come up onto your hands, and just go ahead, lean over to the left, come onto your left hip, swing your right leg around, and then come onto your back. Bring your heels in close to your butt, shoulder width apart, hands by your sides. Press up, glute bridge. Okay, squeeze your butt. We're not here for long. And then slowly just lower one vertebrae at a time down to the ground. You're going to cross your right ankle over your left knee, figure 4. And then press into your left foot and just shift your hips a little bit over to the right, like a couple inches. And then keeping your figure 4 shape, you move your hands out to the side so you have space. You're going to tip over all the way towards the left. So the sole of your right foot comes to the ground and the outside of your left leg is on the ground. And then maybe this is a big stretch, or maybe you want to pull your right ankle in a little closer to your body. And then take your left hand, grab onto your right knee, and just pull it in towards your chest. Feeling a stretch through your glute here. Or maybe option, you want to push that knee away, and then you feel it a bit more in like the front and side of that right hip. One more breath in. One more breath out. And then come on back up to the center. Center your hips. Switch your legs. So right sole of your right foot comes down. Figure 4 with your left leg. Shift your hips over to the left a couple inches just to create some space for your twist. And then tip over. Sole of your left foot comes to the ground. Outside of your right leg is on the ground. And then pull your left knee in towards your chest, keeping the sole of your foot on the ground. One more breath in. Pause at the top. One more breath out. And then come on back up to center. Straighten your hips out. Legs can go long. Hands by your sides. Find a comfortable relaxation position. Maybe wiggle your shoulder blades closer together. Slow your breath down. Maybe one hand on your belly, one hand on your rib cage. Just notice your breath. You guys are welcome to stay here for as long as you want. Bring some relaxation into your Saturday afternoon. Otherwise, feel free to yourself up. I think we've lost Instagram. I went too long. Thank you so much for practicing with me today, and I'll see you guys next week.